30 minutes of Amazon FBA product sourcing to find you guys some successful products. And we have been on an absolute roll with these. As you can see here, this is our current list from the past videos, and we're going to keep it going. And the method we're going to use today is stealing like an artist with reverse sourcing. So basically, we're just going to be looking at other people's storefronts and bringing their leads into our storefronts and essentially buy the same lead from probably even the same supplier. And make sure you stick around to the end because we always seem to find the best products at the end, but hopefully we can turn it around and find a few more products during the middle and the beginning, okay? So just for a little bit of context, this is our master sheet where I'm gonna put all of the Amazon links here and all of the supplier links so we know where to go and find them when it's time to buy. And what we're gonna be doing is, so considering these are all the past leads that we found that are profitable and that look like they have good opportunity, what I'm doing is I'm literally just looking at these past listings and looking at the sellers on these listings and going into their storefronts or their stores and seeing what they're selling and see if we can potentially find some good products that we can also jump on for the ride. All right. So when I find some leads, I'm going to come back here and list them here. And over time, it's going to get more and more extensive. Okay. Let's dive into it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to dive into this Halo microchip product, one of the leads that we found not too long ago. And as you can tell, the seller count is going down a bit. So if I give you guys some rapid context here, just kind of what you're looking at, and don't worry, it's very simple and not confusing at all. What you're seeing here is the price on the top chart. You're seeing how much sales volume, how many sales per month in the middle chart. And at the bottom is the seller count. So it's how many sellers on the listing. And when it goes down, that means sellers are selling out. When it goes up, that means they're coming in stock. And then all you have to look at in this middle chart is this yellow line. It says monthly sold. So here towards basically September 23rd and on, it's selling around 50, 100 times per month. And before that, it was selling 200 times per month. And you can see here sometimes in August and July, it pops up to 300 times per month. And then here in the price, it's just slightly going up, which is a good sign. We like consistency, but we like that it's going up. And I can look at this chart over the past year or the past 3,500 days. So all the data I need to know is right here, and you're going to see me go on that a number of times over the course of the video, okay? Also, what I'm going to be going through a lot is the profit calculating tool here on the right. So when I'm looking at a product to see if we can make profit on it, I'm going to go and change this number, which is going to be the cost price when we find a new supplier. And this is also the sale price. So whatever I'm expected to sell the product at, and it's going to be for you guys. So whatever you're expected to sell the product at. And then I'll be looking at some other metrics here like ROI, how much profit we're making, and any other details here. And this is also the software we're going to use to find these potential other, sellers and their stores. Okay. So let's dive into it. And what I'm going to be targeting here at the bottom, you can see when I scroll down, what's popping up here is a number of other sellers. So third-party sellers just like you and I. So I'm scrolling down here to the bottom, and you can see this guy, the Station Approach UK. I'm sure he's from the UK. He has 1,000 reviews, 75 units in stock. This seller here, 1,000 best deals. He has 81 reviews and 1 unit in stock. And this seller here, SGV Top Shelf, has 1,272 reviews, and he has 1 unit in stock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on their storefront, basically opening up all of the products that they sell right now on Amazon. And I'm going to look through each product step by step to see if there's any ones that might catch my eye to bring in our storefront, okay? And I'm also going to open up this seller here. Now, I like to typically target sellers with less than 100 to 200 reviews because that shows me that there's easy competition there and we can win sales. Because the higher the seller is in their rating, the harder it is to compete with them because they're just dominant, right? We just can't compete with a seller that's that big, okay? So let's dive into this seller with 1,000 reviews. That's not bad for me, but for a true beginner, maybe I would work with a little bit smaller reviews, but you never know. Maybe we can find some good opportunity here. So we have, and I like to stay out of the clothing, shoes, toys, kid stuff category, as well as like the beauty products. So you're going to see me just skip over those unless it's like a really, really good opportunity. All right. I really like the niche stuff. So this whistle is good. Also, I like to focus on products that are above $20 just because it gives me a little bit more wiggle room with some refunds and returns and whatnot. And you're not going to see me sell any products that have 1 sale per month. So you can see right here, this listing literally sells 1 time a month. And I'm not going to focus on any of those because that is way too low to be competing for 1 sale per month. I'd rather have like hundreds or 200s or 300s. Okay. So we have this product here, but it's $15. So I'm going to move on past it. I don't know what this is, to be honest. It looks a little bit interesting. Also, what I'm going to be doing frequently is looking at this offer count Offer count is essentially just how many sellers are on the listing. It's just, you could basically just swap the word. And I want that offer count to be above 10, even above like 7 or 8, because I want to know that a lot of sellers are on the listing, getting sales, trading the buy box. And the buy box, because I'm going to reference it a lot, is this buy button right here. So where it says buy now, when you go to shop there as an Amazon customer, that's where you go to buy the product, right? And every seller is competing for this buy now button because all the other sellers are in the other sellers on Amazon. And 99% of the time, I mean, let me know if you've done this in the comments, if you've gone to this other sellers option and actually bought from one of these sellers, especially from one of these sellers all the way at the bottom of the list. There's like a 0.000% chance that it actually happens. So we want to fight for that buy box, okay? And I'll reference that a few times. Now, what I'm seeing here is this seller has a lot of like 4 or 5 offer count leads. And this one's 7, which is good. But it looks like he works in a specific niche, like a nemesis, kind of like ancient medieval stuff. I mean, how to teach your own? I don't know. It's interesting. DIY doctor heavy tape. Okay. 5+ sellers. This looks like it has some opportunity here. Hundreds plus sales per month, $22, not bad. So what I'm going to do is when it checks out and it looks pretty good as a listing, I'm just going to open it up onto the Amazon page and I'm going to break down the listing from top to bottom. So it's just doing like its normal checks and balances process to make sure that everything looks good on the potential listing. Because if it doesn't, I'm just going to move on and keep going to the new one. All right. Let's keep it going here. We have a remote control, like a technology product. Typically, this looks decent. I mean, so these big sellers here, you can see Audio Savings has 42,000 reviews. This guy has 7,000 reviews. Like, this is too big of competition to even try to even play around with that. We're probably going to lose sales or not get any sales almost immediately. Okay, this is interesting. Vermex Poultry Parasite Liquid. Looks interesting, but the seller with 20,000 reviews and 1,900 reviews, it's only 300 sales per month. If it was 3,000 sales per month, maybe I would fancy it, as they say, but not with something with such little, okay? I'm going to try to go a little bit rapid fire here. It might be quick but intense, but I'm going to go through it and try to give it as clearly as possible. Okay, so this has 18 sellers, 200 sales per month, and it's a high selling price. So personally, for me, I would work in a product that's $120. But if you're just starting off on Amazon, I wouldn't take that risk because it's just such an expensive product where if you get a few returns or refunds, it's just not as fun, right? You're losing some money, and it makes it a bit more difficult to be successful. Here's a good opportunity here. We have a nasal spray, okay? So once I get to 3 products, I'm gonna go ahead and to dive into those products and see what I'm actually seeing. All right, see if there's an opportunity to go find a supplier and get it for a profitable price and start selling it. And I do that kind of the same process. I don't do like one at a time because it takes the flow out of things. I want to keep a good flow, okay? So let's see. All right, so pricing is very consistent. It kind of stays between 1 seller, maybe even 2 a little bit. It rotates a little bit. So I'm running my cursor from right to left just to see any like trading in the price there to see if the pricing is consistent and to see if other sellers are trading the price. Because what you're seeing here is this seller here called Onesie Store. If his name just stays on here the entire time for this line, I know that every time his name is on here, he's the one winning the sales. So typically I want to see like a number of names trading between each other because it shows there's a lot of opportunity. But it's not the worst case scenario because he has 137 reviews. If he had like 200 million reviews, we would obviously move off of it. And the sales volume here in the middle chart, I'll turn this off for you guys just so it gets a bit more clear. And we'll just look at the yellow chart here, the yellow line, because it just tells it straightforward the month he sold. And it's at 100 now. It went down to 50 and went back up to 100. I'll look at the 1-year chart and see what that looked like before. The seller count has gone up a little bit over here in the past from August 8th. Went up by 6 or 7 sellers, which isn't great. But let's open up the 1-year chart, all right? So over the past 1 year, this product's pricing has been decently consistent. I mean, it's been above 19, but it's come up recently in the past. And the seller count hasn't really been too sporadic. It was started at 1 or 2 in the beginning of the year, and now it's at 8, okay, maybe 9, which is totally fine. And the volume here, you can tell when the line is gone, it means it's selling below 50 units a month. So this is below 50 units, which isn't, that's something we really don't want to work in, especially for a $22 item. I mean, if it was like $100 of an item, we can make pretty good profit, even with 50 sales per month or 30 sales per month. But this is pretty low. Now, it's not the worst case scenario because it looks like it's trending up a little bit. So we'll kind of keep giving it an opportunity here. Let me move myself to the left so you can see it a bit clearer. All right, let's go into some of the sellers here. We have Onesie Store. Okay, we have some smaller sellers, 30 reviews, 137 reviews. There's that guy with 1,000 reviews. That's his storefront we're looking at. 24 reviews, 137 reviews. And guys, this is all just third-party sellers, right? People like you and I who are buying the same product and listing it on Amazon, and they're all competing for these sales, right? That's all that's happening here. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more detailed and go into the data tab. And what this data tab does in this software, it just tells me like who's winning the sales and at what time, how much stock they have. So I'd like to get a little bit more specific just to make sure we're making a good buying decision when analyzing it, okay? So this chart here is going to show me each seller's stock. And when I look at each of the seller's stock, I'm looking at, okay, is it going down over time or is it staying, stagnant? If it's going down, that means they're getting sales from customers. If it's staying here, that means it's just not doing anything. That means they're not winning any sales and it's not a good sign to work on, okay? But this looks pretty good. Some of these sellers are selling through a little bit, which is what we want to see, okay? It's pretty good to be selling out. Let's look at buy box statistics. So like I said, that buy box is buy button right here. Who's winning the sales majority of the time? You can see it's onesie sellers, 87% of the time right here. And he has 160-ish reviews, so we can compete with that. Then this guy here, low prices, a little bit of a fancy name. He has 8% buy box win, okay? And I think he has even less. Yeah, he has 81 reviews. And this guy here, the station approach, wins buy box 4% of the time, and he has 1,000 reviews. Okay, so I think we can come on here and have a good opportunity, whether you're a beginner seller or a veteran seller. It looks like a lot of opportunity to win here. Now, the fun part is actually finding the supplier. So all you do is you go into Google and you just search up what the supplier is for this. Now we're getting a little bit of a, I guess, bot. They're thinking we're a robot, so we're gonna have to try to go through some loopholes. But yeah, the process is very simple. You just have to go into Google and actually look up the product and see if something can pop up. That's the best way to go about it if you're not doing wholesale. And as a beginner, you're doing online arbitrage, right? So you're just worrying about, okay, what can I do and where can I find this? What supplier are they trusted and do they have a good price, right? So this is kind of a niche product. It's DIY Doctor is the name. Heavy duty double side tape, 20 meters by 21 millimeters, okay? Let's see if we can find the same here. And what I do is sometimes the title could be too long for Google's algorithm. So I just cut it out a little bit. Just cut out. Let's see if anything can pop up from the actual brand itself. That would be the best case scenario if the brand can direct us to where to buy this product. Let's see. It looks like a very niche product and kind of hard to find because nothing's popping up. But that's a good sign. The harder it is to find, the better it is. It might exhaust our time here if we just stayed on this one product the entire time. But it looks like a good opportunity nonetheless. What I'm going to do is here, I'm going to save this listing here just in our sheet, just like I did with a few of these other products. I'm going to save it to try to go back and find it another time. But if I spend the entire time here just looking for this product, it's going to take forever, okay? And the good thing about this though, check this out here on the right. Now that we have one listing that we actually like, we look at the good selling volume, the good sellers, the good competition. Now we have access to like 8 more sellers that we can look into their storefronts to see if they are selling anything well as well. So we are going to save this listing for later and then continue with all of the other listings that we have because we have a few of them to review now, okay? So I'm going to exit out here and we have this one saved over here in our YouTube Sourcing Master Lead tab for you guys, okay? So let's dive into this one because it looks pretty good. I mean, it's selling 200 times per month and it's $125. If you can find this profitable, you're doing pretty well for yourself. And you can see here, my team who does all the sourcing for me, they already have a cost price in here because they have access to my software. So maybe they even found something here for good opportunity. So just like that, it's a small world on Amazon. We randomly clicked on this product and now we have a potential opportunity, okay? So this listing also has a good amount of sellers, which I like. So let's start with price, go to sales, and then go down to seller count. So with pricing, we have some buy box rotation here. You see how the name continues to change? Watch as I go my cursor to the left. Name is constantly changing, okay? Boom, 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 always changing, which is a really good sign. And it's changing between smaller sellers. 400 reviews, 100 reviews, that's pretty good, right? 300 reviews, that's pretty good. And the pricing staying consistent. Good sign. All right, let's look at the top chart. Or the middle chart. The middle chart shows the sales volume is consistent at 200. It dips below to 100 in July, but it's not too big of a concern considering how expensive it is as a product, okay? Now here at the bottom, the seller count, it looks very stable. You might get worried about this because you see 30 sellers and you're like, wow, a lot of competition. But most of the time, not all the sellers are actually priced competitively with each other, right? Some are just like priced out of the market. So you don't have to worry about that too much. You just have to worry about who's actually have a good pricing and whatnot. And this looks really consistent because it's kind of like this mountain. I like to see the mountain because it shows me like it went up, it stabilized, and now it's coming back down, which is a really good sign. Okay. Now, over the past year, I just flipped the chart open to a year, and the pricing stays decently consistent. It goes down to 115, which I don't like to see, and it looks like some bigger sellers here with 24,000 reviews, which concerns me a little bit because if it's a bigger seller, they're going to win 100% of the sales when they come in the listing. So that concerns me a little bit, but still, between May and on, there looks like a lot of opportunity. So even if we get 3 months of selling this at 30% ROI, I'll do my math here in a calculator. Let's say we're buying it at 75 or 74. And if we can get, I don't know, 30 sales per month, probably even 50 sales per month, but let's just say 30, and we do this for 3 months, it's still $2,000 profit. It's pretty good, right? I can't complain too much with that number. And if we could win more sales, even better. Okay. If we have a big catalog of this, we continue finding more products like this, we'll be in a good shape. So this looks well. Let me go into the data tab here to look at the buy box statistics to see what's coming up here. Okay, buy box statistics. 42% of the buy box is won by this seller here with 411 reviews. 20% of the buy box is won by this seller here with 61 reviews. And 11% is won by this seller, 81 reviews. And this is the same guy at low prices. Okay, so this looks really, really good. Let's dive here into SellerAmp like we did before. And let's actually see some of the sellers here priced competitively. And when I keep saying price competitively, look for the sellers who are actually in the range where the product is selling at. If they're priced at like $180 or $200, then it doesn't matter. Like we're not worried about competing with you because you don't know what you're doing. You really don't know what you're doing. We're just worrying about the guys who are at $125 or somewhere in that range, guys or girls. All right. And it looks pretty good because there's only about 4 or 5 sellers in that $125 range. And then it gets higher and higher and higher. Look, people are kind of priced out of the market. 130, 146, 150, 242. That's crazy high. And then there's actually, okay, so then we're at 18 sellers right now, okay? So this looks really, really good. Now, the fun part, finding a supplier for this. So this is a Sure Flap item, Sure Pet Care Microchip, Cat Flap White. Okay, a lot of stuff going on there. I'm just gonna copy this and put this into Google and let Google do the hard part for me. All right, so let me let that load there in Google and just do some final checks here while that's loading. It looks pretty good though. It looks really good. Outside of this kind of dip here with the bigger sellers, it looks like something we should absolutely pursue. And the pricing I'm looking for here is 74 because I'm looking for 30% ROI. Sometimes I look for 35% ROI and above. But considering this is such an expensive product, even at 30% ROI, we have $22 profit, right? Almost 23. And if it goes down to like, let's say, if we bought this at 80 and it goes down to 21% ROI, it's still a $17 profit. Like we're selling 30 of those a month. It's like $600, $700 of profit a month, which is awesome. Okay. So let's look for this for 70, 75. Anything below that is perfect. Okay. So what do we have here? We have what size? 4 3/4 by 5 5/8. Okay. This looks AliExpress. I don't know if that's a trusted supplier. Walmart. Okay. It's also not a trusted supplier. Chewy's a good one. It's a good supplier to buy from. Sure Pet Care, this looks like the brand themselves. Potentially they have a wholesale opportunity. Sometimes for these leads, I like to see if any seller has like a lot of units. All right, just this one, 69. This one has 59. This one has 27. Because if they do, maybe there's a wholesale opportunity where I can contact the brand and actually build a relationship with them. So yeah, so I have one potential opportunity here. Pet Safe Microchip Door. We have to make sure that's the same product. So let's go here into the product details. See more. 80.8 inches times 13.5 in the width. Okay. So this is 4 feet by 3/4. So what is 4 feet 2 inches? That's 48 and 75 inches. And this says it's 80.8 inches. Maybe that's centimeters. Let me see. 80.8 centimeters. And this is the life of sourcing, just kind of doing some digging like this. No, that's 31. So unless this is the wrong size, it would be nice if they gave us some dimensions if it was like in inches or something. Oh, it does say inches. I'm sorry. I'm not even looking at that. It says inches right in front of me. And the width is 13.5. So this looks like a good, it's bigger. It's bigger than what the actual product is. So, which is interesting. because it's like, how is this product potentially bigger? It's pet safe, microchip, cat door, right? It's exactly what people are looking for, exactly what they're looking for here. Um, is there any other tells here where we can make sure that it's the same exact product? Because this sizing is different than, or the metrics that they're using is different than what we're seeing on PetSmart. And PetSmart's a really good supplier, so I would love to work with PetSmart here. Any details here? Here we go. So this is millimeters. So this is the one we're on here at 125.50. I believe so. This one right here. And it's flats opening dimensions is width is 142 times 120. Okay. And the height is 120. Okay. So let me go back into here on PetSmart or on the listing. Let me go on PetSmart here to make sure that we're getting the same thing. So let's go 80.8 inches to millimeters, inches to mm. This is what it's about with sourcing. We're digging into a deeper product here. I'd rather do this than anything else. Oh boy. All right, let's let it load here a little bit. We're going too fast for it, but it's okay. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's exciting. Okay, let's just see what pops up there. But this looks like a really good opportunity. I mean, if this is the same, that would be awesome. It kind of sucks that they're in different dimensions here, but maybe that's why they're confusing everybody a bit. 80.8. Let's let this load here. It's kind of going a little bit slow. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for 142. Okay, we're looking for 142. Okay, there's no possible way. Unless it's like quadruple the size of this thing, right? There's no possible way. So we're going to have to do some more digging with this, but this looks like a good opportunity. I mean, what do you guys think? Does it look like the same product here? Oh, it's completely different brand. Yeah, so this is a completely different brand. I'm looking for pet care. Somehow, I mean, it says Sure Pet Care, and this one says Pet Care, Pet Safe. Okay, so a completely different brand. So we got sidetracked there a bit, but it doesn't look like the same. But let's go back into our suppliers, see if we can find someone out of here. Our best bet here so far, just for what I'm seeing on the first page or not, looks like it's contacting the brand. I mean, like, so far our best bet looks like it's contacting the brand because there's no suppliers that have it profitable right now, but it looks like it's contacting the brand. I'm going to save this. And what I'm going to start doing here, for the next sourcing video, I'm going to have a new tab where we can save like leads without source sites. So ones that we're finding good quality leads but don't have a supplier, because now we have like 6 or 7 of them. I'm going to save them into another sheet so that we can dive into those at a later time. But let me exit out of those. And the good thing again, guys, like I said, now we have another 10 or 12 sellers to look through their storefronts. That's the power of reverse sourcing, right? You're looking through one product and now you have 10 more potential storefronts. And let's say each seller has 20 or 30 leads. That's 300 new leads to look through, which is awesome. Okay, awesome look through. All right, we haven't even got through all of our products yet. Here, we're still in this nose spray here, or foot spray. Okay, this is a foot spray for athlete's foot. All right, it's selling at $20.29. And let's look at the pricing here first. Looks decently consistent above 20. All right, it dips a little bit, which sucks, but it looks good. It looks decent because it's at 25 and it comes down to 20. I'd like to see more consistency, but it's not terrible. The volume is coming down here. It's at 600 monthly sold. It was at a 900 back in September 1, but it's coming down a little bit. So maybe it's seasonal because it's getting cold on some parts of the East Coast. But let's open up the 1-year chart, all-time chart. This listing was open for 173 days, so fairly new, I would consider it. But for the most part, it's handling itself pretty well. It's consistent on price. It's decently consistent on volume. You can see the volume like kind of really rose here. It went from 50 all the way to 900 and then back down to 600. So it's trying to stabilize somewhere. And the seller count's always been low, which I like to see over 7 or 8 sellers here, but it's not terrible. And at $20.29, we'd have to buy it at $6.25 to hit my criteria, which is $5 profit and 30% ROI. And, that's okay. We can come down a little bit. Maybe if we say $7.25, we can live with that because we're still making 55% ROI. My profit per dollar is lower, and I like that higher just in case some returns or refunds. But let's look at some of these sellers here. All right, so all the sellers are kind of mid-size. So I know I can compete with them very well. Maybe a new seller could sneak like 30 or 50, sales per month if they're staying consistent on pricing. It might be tough, but let's go check it out anyways because this listing looks good. We're getting good luck today with good listings that we're popping on, which is a good sign. All right, so what does this product actually look like? Because remember, sometimes these products have advertising differences where it's the same product, but it's just presented the wrong way. And there's a lot of opportunity there. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is the product here. I can tell. Lamb so. Okay, it looks like there's two different sizes here. All right, we got to make sure we're buying the same size because the sellers are supplying the wrong size sometimes. It's 15 ml. All right. All right, Walgreens is a supplier. Great. Walgreens does great with this stuff. Well, it looks like a different product there. Let's keep it going. Let's dive into Walgreens before we move anywhere because they're really good about this stuff. All right, they're 4.2 ounces. So again, we have to match ounces with ml. Let's see. 4.2 ounces to ml. 118. What are we doing here? All right, let's see. Hold on, let's go back into this listing here because it looks like we're a little 15 ml. What is 15 ml? 0.51. Okay, so this is the regular size. So Walgreens is supplying the regular size, which I don't know. Would people be that mad about buying an extra big product? I guess one person was. It's always important to check the reviews because this person was pretty upset about getting a big bottle, overpriced and this guy was undersized. It was too small. But this guy, I think, was a little upset that it was too big. It's the standard US size. So, yeah. So I guess people aren't too happy with that. But they're looking for the smaller one, I guess. They're looking for the smaller variation of that, which that might be discontinued. We're going to have to look into that a little bit. Yeah, it just doesn't look like the right picture. But if you were to get this and just over-deliver to customers, which I don't recommend doing because you're just supplying the wrong product, and Walgreens isn't doing shipping here, which makes it a little bit of a hassle to get the product to your prep center. But you can probably get this down to $10, $11 or so, which still wouldn't be profitable. So let's keep it going and see if we can get some more. All right, this looks like a European product because I'm seeing some UK pricing coming up. You can see the British pound here, this British pound symbol. That just shows me it's UK. So it looks like an overseas product because typically the US will have all this stuff, but this is definitely a UK product. So again, this is one where we could reach out to all of the UK suppliers and see if anyone can import it over to the United States, send it directly to our prep center, and we can get it for a good price. Totally good with that as well because we can probably get these for like 6 or 7 if we buy in bulk and whatnot. So that's great. But again, this is another one that's like a lead without source site because if we stay here all day, like looking for the supplier or contacting them, it's going to take up a lot of time. And I want to try to get through some of these other listings of leads, okay, for you guys. See if we can build a longer and longer sheet. Because if we build a long sheet of leads without source sites, at least we know we're searching in the wrong direction or the right direction at least, okay? Now, let's go back into the seller. So as you can see here, we've only gone through about 15 to 20, maybe 25 leads through this one seller. And we've come up with like 3 to 4 potential products to buy or 3 products to buy. So it just shows how like this endless process of reverse sourcing and stealing like an artist can never end. If you just do this for like 8 hours a day, or if you did this at night, whenever you had time, is exactly what I did when I first started off. You just come across so many products to buy. Then it's the easy part. You're just buying, sending to the prep center, waiting for the sale, and repeating the process. So it's good. All right, good price point here. Good buy box. All right, some decent mid-sized sellers. I don't know if I would compete there. We'll keep it moving. Just for the sake of a smaller seller getting started, it's going to be a tough one to compete with. Skin cream, I'll move on. Let's see what else we can get here. All right, microwave bowls, not really my niche here. We have this, I think it looks like paint, similar paint. Here's important too that we haven't noticed here yet on this sourcing video is that if ever this pops up on the Keepa chart, right, this little Keepa chart right here is the same one that we see on the bottom of these listings right here. If this ever pops up and this yellow wave, it just shows that Amazon's on the listing. Whenever I see Amazon on the listing, I'm going to move on past it because I do not want to compete with them. They will win 100% of the sales. Believe me on that. I have experienced it the hard way. So let's keep it going. We have this, all right, interesting product here. All right, pricing looks like it's a bit inconsistent. It's not too bad coming up from 29, but let's open this one up. This one looks pretty good. Just for time's sake, I'm going to dive into this one because I think it's going to be the last one we actually get through. So I'm going to dive into this one, and it looks like it is a something for butterflies, decorators. Oh, paint, butterflies paint. I think so. Yeah. All right. Let's go into it. So pricing looks pretty consistent here at 34. It does go down to 28, like I mentioned there in the sneak peek, which is not the greatest. It's at about 100 sales per month, sometimes down to 50, which I don't like to see. And then here, the seller count is at about 7, and it was at 12 at the beginning of the month, which is fine. This is really good consistency, but still, again, it's chopping up a little bit here, which is not something I want to see. Also, the selling volume being so low with such big competition on this big, this big seller here is something not great to see. We could pursue it, but I don't think there's as big of an opportunity as it would be to just continue to source in this guy's storefront. Okay. But there we go. We'll kind of end things off there. We finished with 3 potential products without source sites that we have to dive into to do some extra digging, but we have 3 opportunities of good listings, good leads. So there we go in this sourcing video. If you guys like this, please stick around. I'm going to have many, many more volumes, I guess you can call it, and parts of this to come to find you guys products to make money with Amazon FBA. This is a really fun time. So please subscribe, stick in the channel, and keep watching these videos. And let me know if you have any recommendations in the comments below. I'm happy to make them. So see you guys for now.